them Cowboys! Yeah!
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Space Cowboy. Welcome back to the channel. No face cam for you guys today due to technical difficulties, but the show will continue. So, before we go any further into this pre-game analysis, or I get into that, I need to put a disclaimer in this video. This is being recorded late on September 2nd into September 3rd of 2019. At this point in time, I have no recollection of if Ezekiel Elliott has been signed or not. So if Ezekiel Elliott has been signed and you're watching this video afterwards, listen, we're at a point where it's still being negotiated, his contract. So I just want to get that straight away. So I'll be talking about the Cowboys' strategy of how to beat the Giants without Ezekiel Elliott. Plain and simple. We have to go with that mentality going forward. He's not here right now. So, we got to play some football games, guys. So, let's go ahead and get straight into this. So, first things first. The Cowboys, and I have to stress this, have to start off the season good. Okay, they have 3 winnable games with the Giants, the Redskins, and the Dolphins, okay? Now, right now, the Cowboys are poised as 7-point favorites in this matchup. They're at home. They typically have played well at home of recent. And it's going to be interesting to see how this team functions with all the new parts that they've added. Obviously, the number one thing I'm excited for is to see what Kellen Moore can do on offense. You know, even if the plays aren't all that different, can he make it so that this offense can be efficient? Even if it's at least 50% better than, or even 40% better than what we saw with Scott Linehan, I'll be pleased with that. So looking at the matchups that I've been, comparing the position groups for both teams all across the board. Starting at the quarterback position, we got Eli Manning and Dak Prescott. I think Dak Prescott is currently, obviously, winning that matchup. I think he's, at this point in time, better than Eli Manning. He's on the decline. And Eli Manning is going to be a handcuff for the Giants. Now, I will say that Eli Manning has given the Cowboys fits from time to time, but I will tell you, I'm not too worried about Eli Manning. I think that he will generate a couple turnovers for the Cowboys defense to get, and we'll turn that into offense and get some points. I really do believe that. Moving at the running back position, obviously Saquon Barkley is by far the superior back in this game, with Tony Pollard assumedly starting at this point in time. But I do think just because that, Saquon at this point in time is the better running back, it's all about how efficient the running game can be. And that is with the offensive lines of both teams. I can say without a shadow of a doubt the Dallas Cowboys offensive line is by far a much better offensive line than the Giants. And the reasoning that I bring that up is that is where I think the game is going to be won. If the Cowboys' run game can be efficient, and granted Zeke's not, assumingly he's not going to play, all we have to do is play efficient football on both sides of the ball. On offense, if we can get a solid run game, we don't need to just run. We need to be able to utilize both the best of our passing and running attack. And if we're not able to do that, that is going to truly hamper us down the line. So if Tony Pollard is going to be, and I don't think he's going to have any issues, if he is unable to be serviceable and this offensive line, or even if the offensive line doesn't play well, that's going to be a huge issue. Okay, Zeke, one of your best players, is not at this point in time playing. I'm going to reiterate that over and over again because as of right now, He has not signed a contract, and he's not reported to the Cowboys facility. So, with that being said, if we can get a good running game, and Dak Prescott can play efficient football, which I do believe he can, I think we can win this game. Another thing is looking at the defensive side of the ball. I'm not going to mention the wide receivers because that's obvious. Tight ends, that's up for debate. Defensively, I think that the Cowboys, or even, I'm just going to outright say it, I think the Cowboys at this point in time are an all-round better team than the Giants. Their defense is a lot better, and I think that with a healthy DeMarcus Lawrence, Byron Jones, you bring in Tyrone Crawford into that fold, and then you have your linebackers all fully healthy. Listen, man, the Cowboys defense is going to truly be what wins. While I mentioned that the running game is important, I think that if the defense can generate turnovers, and that is where I think the Cowboys are truly going to make their mark if they do well this season, is if that defense can start generating a ton of turnovers. Now, obviously, it's not easy to make turnovers, but if we can do that and convert those to points, whether that be through defensive touchdowns, offensive touchdowns off of recoveries and things of that nature, I think that the Cowboys will do fine this season. It's usually the hardest game to really gauge on because it's the first game of the season. It's really difficult to be like, oh, I know what's going to happen. Last year, once you get through a couple games, you can be like, well, this is how I feel like we're going. And it's very tough, but I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's just there's really nothing more to talk about. I understand that the Giants are a division foe. I'm not taking them lightly, guys. Please understand that. I do not take division foes lightly at all, regardless of who they are. But based off of what the teams are presenting from both the Giants and Cowboys sides of things, the Cowboys should be able to win this game decisively. Over the past couple of games, the Cowboys currently have won 4 straight games versus the Giants. Now, I understand that if we look at these 4 games, that we look at the first games, and typically the Cowboys do very well defensively against the New York Giants, and their offense kind of sputters a bit. Then, in the later game, the Cowboys' offense typically comes alive, and it's just been a weird dynamic that's happened over the past 2 seasons. I'm not saying that's going to happen again this year, but it's just something that I noticed. And I think that the moral of this entire story with this Giants game in the first 3 games is you have to beat these teams. At worst, you start off 2-1. If you, by some horrific accident, start off 1-2 with the roster, or 0-3 with the roster you have currently, I don't even know what to say. I think that at that point I'd be completely flabbergasted, and I would be, well, and it would depend on how we're losing those games. But all I'm trying to say is that if we have the roster that's ready to contend, you should be able to beat these bad teams and accumulate wins. There is no reason, assuming everybody stays healthy, this Cowboy squad does not start off 3-0, or at the worst 2-1 with these first 3 games. They need to stack these wins, because if they don't stack these wins, it's going to hurt them down the line. I can guarantee you that. You have 2 division games, and then you have a game versus a rebuilding Miami squad that just unloaded one of their key wide receivers and a left tackle. I don't like looking down the line, but the reason I had to bring up those further games is because that's the window in which you can go on a 3-game winning streak to stack wins. And it starts here. That's the point I'm trying to get at. You start off strong with a solid win versus this Giants team, build some momentum, and you can go into next week versus Washington and try to get another W to put yourself 2-0 in the division. But before we can start thinking about that, we have the New York Giants to take care of. This Cowboys team is ready. I can't wait to see them on the football field on Sunday. They're going to be playing at 4:25 Eastern, 3:25 Central for Texas Central Time, and it's going to be a hell of a game, I feel. I want to see the Cowboys put this whole thing together and start, showing who they really are. Because I can guarantee you, if they screw this up, there's going to be a whole bunch of narratives that come out of this. But I've done enough talking. Let's get ready for some football on Sunday. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. I will be doing a post-game analysis as well once the game is concluded. Feel free to put in the comments section how you feel about this upcoming game. Do you think the Cowboys can win? What do you think they need to do to win? How do you feel about their opponent, etc.? And with that being said, guys, I will be talking to you guys later. Peace out. Bye-bye.